Imagine this. You sit down for dinner, enjoying your favorite comfort food, maybe a warm plate of crispy fries or mashed potatoes with a little butter. It feels harmless, maybe even healthy. After all, potatoes are vegetables, right? But what if I told you that this very meal could silently raise your risk of a stroke overnight? Yes, the same vegetable we've trusted for generations might be doing more harm than good when prepared the wrong way. And what doctors have recently discovered is sending shockwaves through the medical world. Welcome to Senior Health with Grace, the channel where we bring you trusted, science-backed health information to help you stay active, independent, and full of life well into your senior years. If you're over 45, you already know how important it is to protect your heart and brain health. You may eat your vegetables faithfully, take your vitamins, and try to stay active, yet stroke remains one of the top causes of disability and death among older adults. The good news is that much of this risk can be prevented, but only if you know the hidden triggers that most people overlook. And sometimes those triggers are found in the most unexpected places, like your dinner plate. Let's be honest, we all crave easy, tasty meals. When life gets busy, it's tempting to grab a bag of frozen fries, open a pack of chips, or make instant mashed potatoes. They taste good, they're convenient, and they're made from a vegetable, so they must be healthy, right? Well, not quite. Recent research has shown that certain forms of this beloved vegetable, especially when processed, fried, or heavily salted, can do serious damage to your cardiovascular system, sometimes within hours of eating them. Doctors are increasingly alarmed by how quickly blood pressure can spike after consuming these foods, setting off a chain reaction in the body that increases the risk of stroke and heart attack overnight. It's not the vegetable itself that's dangerous, it's what's been done to it. For seniors, this is especially concerning. As we age, our blood vessels naturally lose some of their flexibility, and our bodies take longer to manage sodium and sugar levels. That means that what might not harm a 25-year-old can be extremely risky for someone in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. Every bite matters, not because we should live in fear, but because our bodies deserve care, not chemicals. Knowing how a simple choice, like how you cook a potato, can mean the difference between healthy arteries and a dangerous stroke gives you power, real power. So today, let's uncover the truth behind this common vegetable. We'll explore what recent studies reveal, how it affects your brain and blood vessels, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself, starting at your next meal. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which form of this vegetable to avoid and which healthy alternatives can actually help your heart and brain thrive. Let's get started. Let's start with the truth most people never hear. Potatoes themselves aren't the problem. It's what happens to them after they leave the farm that turns them into a silent health risk. When we think of potatoes, we often picture something comforting. Maybe creamy mashed potatoes, crispy fries, or a golden baked potato topped with butter. They've been a staple food for centuries, providing energy, potassium, and vitamin C. But today's modern potatoes rarely resemble the simple boiled ones our grandparents used to eat. The issue lies in processed potato products: fries, chips, tater tots, hash browns, and instant mash mixes. They're everywhere, in restaurants, frozen aisles, and snack shelves. They're convenient and addictive, but they come with a cost. During processing, these once healthy potatoes are soaked in refined oils, loaded with salt, and stripped of their natural nutrients. The healthy fiber and potassium that help regulate blood pressure are reduced, while the harmful fats and sodium skyrocket. This toxic transformation can trigger a chain reaction inside your body that increases your risk of stroke. Here's how it happens. When you eat processed potatoes, especially fried ones, your body absorbs a surge of trans fats and oxidized oils. These fats don't just add calories, they actually damage the lining of your blood vessels, known as the endothelium. Over time, that damage leads to inflammation, stiff arteries, and higher blood pressure. For adults over 45, whose arteries are already less flexible, that's a dangerous combination. The high sodium content in fries and chips also creates instant water retention. Your blood volume increases, forcing your heart to pump harder. Blood pressure rises, and within hours, your body experiences more stress than it should. Doctors have observed that regular consumption of these foods can cause overnight spikes in blood pressure, which may lead to blood vessel rupture or clot formation, the direct triggers of a stroke. Another hidden issue is how these foods are cooked. The deep frying process produces a chemical called acrylamide, formed when starchy foods are heated at high temperatures. Acrylamide has been linked to nerve and blood vessel damage, increasing the risk of cardiovascular problems. And because fries and chips are often fried in the same oil multiple times, the oxidative damage is multiplied. Processed potatoes are also engineered for taste. Companies use specific combinations of salt, fat, and sugar to make them irresistible. This creates a reward loop in the brain. You crave more, even when you're full. Unfortunately, that repeated exposure floods your system with unhealthy compounds that harm your heart and brain over time. So while it's easy to think of potatoes as harmless comfort food, the truth is sobering. When heavily processed, they stop nourishing you and start working against your body's natural defenses. The good news is, awareness is power. By understanding how processed potatoes damage your cardiovascular system, you can make smarter choices and protect your brain, heart, and future health. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous and most overlooked ingredients hiding inside processed potato products: sodium. We often think of salt as something harmless, just a sprinkle to add flavor. But what most people don't realize is that excess sodium is one of the top contributors to stroke, heart disease, and high blood pressure in adults over 45. And it's not just about how much salt you add at the table, it's the hidden sodium in the foods you buy that causes the most harm. When doctors warned about the dangers of fries, chips, and instant potatoes, sodium is a big part of the reason why. A single serving of frozen fries can contain 400 to 600 milligrams of sodium, and a small bag of potato chips often carries over 500 milligrams. That might not sound like much, but when you remember that the recommended daily limit is only about 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams, you can see how easy it is to overshoot, often before lunchtime. Here's what happens inside your body. When you eat foods high in sodium, your body tries to balance things out by retaining water. That extra water increases the volume of blood in your bloodstream. The more blood volume you have, the harder your heart has to pump to circulate it. That means your blood pressure rises, putting enormous strain on your arteries. For younger people, the body may handle this stress temporarily. But for older adults, especially those with stiff or narrowed arteries, that sudden pressure increase can be devastating. It can damage the fragile walls of blood vessels, especially in the brain. And when those vessels weaken or rupture, the result can be a stroke. Even worse, sodium doesn't just affect your blood pressure overnight. It has long-term consequences. Over time, too much sodium weakens the elasticity of your arteries, hardens vessel walls, and contributes to plaque buildup. It can also interfere with kidney function, reducing your body's ability to filter out waste and excess fluid, which again raises your blood pressure even further. Another problem is that many seniors are unaware of where sodium hides. It's not only in salty snacks, it's in canned soups, instant foods, sauces, and low-fat frozen meals that seem healthy. The same processed potatoes that we eat for convenience often come pre-seasoned, pre-fried, and pre-salted. You may not even taste how salty they are because flavor enhancers and oils mask the saltiness. Doctors call this the sodium trap because people fall into it without realizing it. You may think you're eating a moderate diet, but your daily sodium intake could be double what's safe for your heart and brain. So, what's the solution? Awareness and balance. Read food labels carefully. Aim for less than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving whenever possible. Choose fresh or home-cooked potatoes instead of processed ones. Season your meals with herbs, lemon juice, garlic, or pepper instead of relying on salt. Remember, the goal isn't to remove all salt. Your body needs a small amount to function. The goal is to take back control of where that sodium comes from. When you do, you'll lower your blood pressure, protect your arteries, and dramatically reduce your risk of stroke. In the end, it's not just what you eat, it's what's hidden inside that matters most. One of the most silent and deadly effects of eating processed potatoes regularly is something most people never feel happening inside their bodies: inflammation. It doesn't cause pain you can easily notice, and you won't see it in the mirror. But deep within your blood vessels, inflammation quietly sets the stage for something much more dangerous: blood clots. Let's take a closer look at how this works. When you eat highly processed or fried potato products, such as chips, fries, or instant mixes, your body absorbs a flood of unhealthy fats, oxidized oils, and additives. These substances trigger an immune response. Your body senses them as foreign invaders and tries to fight back. That immune reaction leads to low-grade inflammation that can persist for hours or even days after eating. Now, inflammation isn't always bad. It's the body's natural defense mechanism. But when it becomes chronic, constantly triggered by processed foods, it starts to damage the inner lining of your arteries, known as the endothelium. Think of your arteries like smooth garden hoses that carry blood easily. Inflammation roughens those inner walls, making them sticky. Once that happens, cholesterol, calcium, and fatty deposits begin to cling to the vessel walls, creating plaque buildup. Over time, this sticky environment becomes the perfect place for blood clots to form. And here's where the danger really escalates. If one of those clots breaks loose, it can travel through your bloodstream and block blood flow to your brain, causing an ischemic stroke. That's why doctors are so concerned about chronic inflammation. You can't see it, but it's quietly narrowing and weakening your arteries every day. Processed potato products are particularly harmful because they're often fried in oils that have been heated repeatedly. These reheated oils are full of free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells and speed up inflammation throughout the body. Add in a high sodium load, and your blood pressure rises, further irritating your blood vessel walls. It's a double assault: chemical inflammation combined with mechanical pressure. For seniors, this risk is even higher. As we age, our body's natural anti-inflammatory response weakens. What used to be a temporary flare-up now lasts longer, causing lasting harm to the circulatory system. That's why many people over 50 who eat processed or fried foods frequently experience arterial stiffness, fatigue, or dizziness, early warning signs that blood flow is being compromised. The good news is that this damage is not permanent if you act early. By cutting down on processed potato foods and replacing them with anti-inflammatory options, such as leafy greens, berries, and omega-3 rich foods, you can help your blood vessels heal. Exercise, hydration, and getting enough sleep also reduce inflammation naturally. Remember this simple truth: inflammation feeds strokes, but healthy choices starve it. Every time you choose a baked or steamed potato over fries or chips, you're not just saving calories, you're protecting your arteries, calming inflammation, and keeping your blood flowing smoothly to your heart and brain. Your body has an incredible ability to repair itself. You just have to give it the right tools. Another major danger hiding inside processed potato foods is something most people never associate with a stroke: unstable blood sugar. Many of us think of sugar only in terms of sweets, but the truth is that starchy foods, like potatoes, can have just as powerful an impact on blood sugar levels, especially when they're processed, fried, or made into instant forms. Let's start with a simple fact. Potatoes have a naturally high glycemic index, GI, meaning they cause blood sugar to rise quickly after you eat them. When a potato is eaten in its whole, boiled form, with the skin on, the fiber helps slow this spike. But when you eat fries, chips, or instant mashed potatoes, that fiber is stripped away and the starch becomes rapidly digestible. The result? Your blood sugar can shoot up almost as fast as if you had eaten a spoonful of sugar.
For older adults, this can be especially risky. As we age, our cells become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that helps move sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. When you eat high GI foods like fries or chips, your pancreas has to release extra insulin to keep your blood sugar under control. Over time, this constant pressure wears out your insulin-producing cells, leading to insulin resistance and eventually type 2 diabetes. But what does this have to do with stroke risk? A lot, actually. High blood sugar damages the walls of your blood vessels. It causes them to become inflamed and stiff, making it harder for blood to flow freely. When your blood vessels are damaged, your body tries to patch them up with cholesterol and fatty deposits, which leads to plaque buildup, the same dangerous process that can block arteries in the heart and brain. In other words, every spike in blood sugar is like a small scratch on the inside of your arteries, and if those scratches keep happening day after day, they eventually lead to serious blockages that increase your risk of stroke or heart attack. The roller coaster effect doesn't end there. After a blood sugar spike, your body often overcompensates by releasing too much insulin, causing your sugar levels to crash. That's when you feel tired, shaky, or hungry again, even if you just ate. This up and down pattern can lead to overeating and cravings for more salty or starchy foods, creating a vicious cycle that keeps blood sugar and inflammation constantly unstable. The worst part is that most people have no idea it's happening. You might feel fine for years, but inside your body, your arteries and nerves are slowly being damaged. By the time symptoms appear, like fatigue, numbness, or dizziness, the damage may already be advanced. The good news? You can stop the roller coaster. Choose foods that release sugar slowly, like whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and boiled potatoes with the skin left on. Pair them with healthy fats and proteins to keep your blood sugar steady. Small changes, such as baking instead of frying or seasoning with herbs instead of sauces, make a big difference. Remember, stable blood sugar means steady energy, a stronger heart, and a much lower risk of stroke. Every balanced meal helps your body stay calm, focused, and protected, just the way nature intended. After hearing all the risks associated with processed potatoes, from sodium overload to inflammation and blood sugar spikes, it's easy to feel discouraged. But here's the best part. You don't have to give up potatoes or comfort foods altogether. You just have to choose and prepare them in smarter, healthier ways. Let's explore how to enjoy your favorite meals while protecting your heart and brain at the same time. First, it's important to remember that potatoes in their natural form are not your enemy. They're actually full of valuable nutrients, including potassium, vitamin C, and fiber, all of which can support healthy blood pressure and muscle function. The key is in how you cook and combine them. Start with whole, unprocessed potatoes, red, white, yellow, or even purple varieties. Always keep the skin on whenever possible. That's where most of the fiber and antioxidants are found. When you boil, bake, or steam potatoes rather than frying them, you avoid the harmful trans fats and chemical byproducts that develop in deep frying oil. This one small change instantly turns a potentially risky food into a nourishing, energy-boosting side dish. If you love crispy textures, don't worry. You can still enjoy them without deep frying. Try oven baking your potato wedges with a light gush of olive oil and a sprinkle of herbs like rosemary, paprika, or garlic powder. Olive oil provides healthy monounsaturated fats that actually help reduce inflammation and improve cholesterol levels. Plus, when you season with herbs instead of salt, you add flavor while lowering your sodium intake naturally. For an even healthier twist, swap traditional white potatoes with sweet potatoes once or twice a week. Sweet potatoes are lower on the glycemic index, meaning they cause smaller spikes in blood sugar. They're also packed with beta-carotene, an antioxidant that supports brain and eye health. Roasted sweet potato cubes or mashed sweet potato with cinnamon make for delicious, stroke-safe alternatives. You can also experiment with low-carb, nutrient-rich substitutes like cauliflower mash or turnip puree. These options mimic the texture of mashed potatoes, but are lighter on starch and easier on blood sugar. Many seniors find that once they try these alternatives, they feel more energetic and less bloated after meals. Don't forget about portion control either. Even healthy carbs can cause issues if eaten in large amounts. Pair your potatoes or their alternatives with lean protein like fish, chicken, or beans, and add plenty of vegetables to your plate. This combination slows digestion, keeps your blood sugar stable, and prevents that post-meal crash many people experience. Finally, hydration plays a hidden role in protecting your heart and blood vessels. Sodium's effects are amplified when you're dehydrated, so drinking enough water throughout the day helps your body maintain balance. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every time you bake instead of fry, or season with herbs instead of salt, you're taking another step toward better circulation, stronger arteries, and fewer stroke risks. Your kitchen can be your greatest ally in longevity. Small, consistent changes can transform your meals from risky to revitalizing. So the next time you reach for that bag of frozen fries, pause and choose the version that fuels your health, not your risk. Healthy aging isn't about restriction. It's about making your favorite foods work for you, gracefully and wisely. So now you know the truth. The vegetable itself isn't the villain, it's what we've allowed to happen to it. Through processing, frying, and oversalting, a once wholesome food has been turned into something that quietly harms our health one bite at a time. But here's the hopeful part. Your health is still in your hands. Every day is a new opportunity to make smarter, kinder choices for your body. You don't have to give up everything you enjoy. You simply have to become more mindful of how it's prepared and how often you eat it. Your body has an incredible ability to heal when given the right care. Studies show that even after years of unhealthy eating, improvements can begin within days of making better choices. Lowering sodium intake, reducing processed foods, and replacing fried snacks with baked or steamed options can lead to measurable changes: better blood pressure, improved energy, and a stronger heart. If you take one message from today's video, let it be this: you are not powerless against stroke or heart disease. These conditions don't happen overnight. They build quietly over time. But the same is true for healing. Every glass of water you drink, every fresh meal you prepare, and every mindful choice you make helps rebuild your strength and protect your brain. For seniors, small steps often create the biggest results. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated diets. You just need consistency and awareness. Next time you're at the grocery store, look at the labels. Choose whole potatoes instead of instant mixes. Pick olive oil instead of vegetable shortening. Add herbs instead of reaching for the salt shaker. And if you're cooking for your family, know that these choices don't just protect you, they protect the people you love. You're setting an example that health doesn't fade with age. It grows with wisdom. At Senior Health with Grace, we believe that aging is not about losing your strength. It's about learning how to use it wisely. We're here to guide you, inspire you, and remind you that it's never too late to make a change. If this video helped you understand your health a little bit better, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who could benefit. You never know whose life you might help transform with a simple click. And don't forget to subscribe to Senior Health with Grace for more science-backed, practical tips to help you live longer, move better, and age gracefully. Because your health journey is not about perfection. It's about progress, awareness, and care. Until next time, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay graceful.